You can help by getting behind your favourite celebrity. I couldn't think of anyone I'd rather get behind than Mr. Adam Sutton himself, and I know you're going to join me on that one.
Last night on ABC's Q&A, it was announced that Community TV's Channel 31 would have their on-air licence renewed for another 12 months to convert to a digital platform. And while many think of Hamish and Andy and Rove when it comes to these success stories,
This is killing me.
for this homo, the real success story of C31 is the powerhouse of Victorian LGBTIQA+ community media, Bent TV, which has been and still is informing and entertaining us with local content you can't find anywhere else.
Eyes and ears to the monitor.
I'm too queer, I'm too fat, I'm too old to be one of those kind of talking heads, and I could be that at Bent.
At that point, there wasn't a lot of trans visibility. It gave me a chance to build some confidence and build some skills.
There's a deep personal connection that people have to community TV that goes beyond anything else.
Bent was one of the 8 founding community groups of Channel 31.
We did a couple of live to air shows, and these kids will never know that excitement.
We like this film festival because it's been taken over by lesbians.
In an age of social media, evolving digital platforms and streaming services, a lot of people don't think there's a need for community or Bent TV. But just because it's of the past doesn't mean it isn't relevant, and Bent TV is more than just an archive of our history and community. Starting with C31 in '94, Bent TV dove into every nook and cranny of our diverse communities.
What is and what is not deemed acceptable when it comes to advertising within the confines of our community.
What do you believe was the purpose of setting up a gay male only venue?
GLBTI disability.
And we're here to chat a little bit about trans men's issues.
I'm glad that I work in an industry where homophobia doesn't exist.
Stop it.
For a time, they were the highest rating series on the station and even created 2.5 hours of content every Monday night before moving to a 1-hour weekly program, all with a cross-section of volunteers in front of and behind the camera.
Everybody's here for different reasons. Some of them were just to pick up stray boys.
They were typical gays and lesbians.
I came out on Channel 31.
I was a, ugly old dyke at that stage, sitting in front of a camera, and people loved it.
That's how I would produce it. I'd just get a bunch of cool people who identified as queer or allies, and I'd say, what's interesting you right now?
I really believe in giving everyone a voice, and there were subgroups within the queer community that I just knew nothing of.
They were not sort of ultra out there people. They weren't celebrities. They were representative of the community.
It was just a space to play. It was a space to explore all of these different topics that there was nowhere else.
Bent TV has continued to highlight strong diversity in our communities, with a wide array of segments and discussions exploring issues that are still hot-button topics today.
We're flying the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander flag.
We're looking at body image.
It's really lovely to have a space where we all feel safe and included and welcome, because that hasn't always been true at Pride.
I first started drinking when I was 13.
I don't know if you know this, but I have never been on a date. So I thought we'd make this session in my bed today about me.
Okay, maybe not that one. But 24 hours ago, it looked like Bent TV was gone for good. And with this extension, it's important that we as a community don't just put our faith in some new platform to show us the diversity we deserve to see. Between Facebook algorithms and confusion and YouTube censoring content, it's hard enough to get queer people access to what they need to see, even when we're looking for it.
We had a particular spot out there in the broader community that nobody else had.
Usually we're only allowed to tick one box, so you can be the queer or the disabled one or the non-binary one. But we were able to put, queer people of colour who were disabled and polyamorous all in the one segment without all right, well, we've got enough of you now.
There was that sense of fun and fierce communityness.
Bent TV is actual, real reality TV made by our community. And I'm not the only person who spent my formative years as a young gay fella watching this show and learning about the strength of my community and seeing the diversity of what it could be.
We had such a broad reach. It wasn't the gays that was watching us, it was the heterosexuals.
Being on Channel 31, people stumbled on it.
I went down to, a local shop and walked in and someone said, "Have I seen you on Bent TV?"
That's how my neighbour found me. Flick, flick, flick. Oh, there's my neighbour.
It was the heterosexuals that were stopping us in the street and saying, "Great show."
It was that sense of connection that it gave to so many of us.
I was working at a bank and just about everybody in the IT team had seen me on Bent TV.
Gay people always criticised us. And I'd say, well, come and join. You don't like the sound? Come and help us. Put your money where your mouth is. heterosexuals loved us.
The reach of community television is far greater than you think, and with another 12 months of Channel 31, Victoria's COVID restrictions are the perfect time to start planning some fabulous content to hit Ben TV. With lockdown in effect, it could be a month or two before we hit the studio, but that doesn't mean you can't get the cogs turning or create some content in home isolation with your phone. Don't just sit back and say you don't see your part of our community reflected in the media. Step up and create some content for Ben TV on Channel 31 so we can continue to see our communities grow on our TVs.
Well, have you got a message for our viewers of Ben TV?
I'm available.